Hi, I am Gabriel, and I invite you in the next few minutes to discover together LIVRESQ, an integrated platform for the realization, publication, editing, consulting, and online management of books, interactive digital materials, and resources, which you can access at the address livresq.com. LIVRESQ is a fully responsive platform, meaning it adapts its content to any screen to work on a multitude of terminals and displays, from desktop to smartphone. What is very important is that the use of LIVRESQ does not require advanced IT knowledge, and allows a quick and low-cost realization of quality interactive digital materials. On the home page, you can find information about the platform and its functionality. Also, from here, the login page can be launched, from where the two main components of the platform can be accessed, the editing area, called LIVRESQ Author, respectively, the platform library, called LIVRESQ Library. The editing area is accessed by clicking on the LIVRESQ Author button, or directly to the address author.livresq.com. If you are not already logged into the platform, a login page appears, where the login data is entered. It is now reached the main page of this component of the platform, which, in turn, has two main parts. The first one is the workshop area, where you realize the primary resources, images, audio clips, videos, galleries, questionnaires, applications, or other types of resources. The second component of this area is the organizer, the personal storage where you keep interactive resources, sections, and projects. Also, on this page, you can find information about the platform version and general policies and personal data protection. The editor's entry page also provides information about the types of resources used. We can see them in this area of the screen. My Account button allows you to change the identification data, such as your name or password, and it also allows you to change the language in which the program menus are displayed. LIVRESQ is based on the concept of resource. A resource is a constituent element of a book, created or exported to the organizer for further use or reuse. The types of resources used by LIVRESQ are images, image galleries, video clips, audio clips, quizzes, applications, and attachments for different kinds of files. Apart from the mentioned resources, LIVRESQ also works with two basic concepts, section and project. A section is the constituent element of a book, equivalent to a chapter or subchapter, or, technically, with a web page. The project is the last stage in making a book, before its export in the final form. From the beginning, it should be emphasized that the platform was designed to save automatically all changes made at different stages of work, so no need to search for a save button. If you are not satisfied with the changes made and you want to go back to a previous version, you have an undo function that memorates the last 100 operations. We will further analyze the organizer section, which we activate at the appropriate button. We see on the left of the page the buttons that allow us to manage shared resources, that enable visualization of recently used resources, and management of deleted resources. We also have an area where we can filter by the different types of resources. At the top of the page are the buttons working with resources and directories. In the first area, we have the two buttons used to display resources and directories in different ways. The first button allows sorting in alphabetical order, and the second changes the view between the two modes, grid view or list view. In both variants, we note that icons that are associated with different resources identify their type, and we also have a hallmark for the resources that are shared. A second area is designed to create resources or directories. In the next area, we have buttons to interact with the available resources as information about the resource, the possibility of sharing, edit the resource, rename, duplicate, move, or delete it. Also, at the top of the screen, we have the search area, which allows us to identify a resource by its name quickly. In the central area of the page, we can observe the existing directories and resources. The access in directories is done with double-click, and navigation can be done easily, as is known from other applications. Resources must be made only if we want to use them in the document and pop-up windows or use them several times. Otherwise, resources can be realized directly in the section, and there is no need to be separately saved in the organizer. Resources can be made later when we need them or can be made in the section and exported from there in the organizer. Making a new resource can be done in many ways, both from the organizer with the help of a Create Resource button, that takes us to a screen where we can select the type of resource we want to achieve, or also from the workshop. The entry page in the workshop is intended to create a new resource. The screen of the workshop area differs depending on the resource with which it is working. For example, we create an image resource. All newly created resources contain a predefined element, in our case, a picture, and that's why it's normal to introduce the image that we want. For example, we choose this image of a map. Next, we can add a description, for example, world map. And we can also add a help message. We have the opportunity after that, on the right side, to perform a series of actions, such as introducing a title map, color themes, or other elements related to the design of this image, the way it is viewed. For those who know, we also can work in CSS for advanced design. What else can we achieve for that resource? We can rename it. And we can use the undo, redo, synchronize buttons, save an organizer button if it was not already saved, and view mode button, so that we figure out how it would look like inserted into a section. We also have the opportunity to work on several types of screens, so we figure out what it would look like on the screen of a smartphone or the laptop screen. After making the resources, the sections are built as parts of the final project. For example, from the organizer, we will open an already made section used for testing. Rows give the structure of a section. We see a row, another row, another row, and so on. On each row, there are several cells, each cell containing a particular type of resource. In our case, we observe cells containing images and text. Structuring the section in this form is done very easily. For this, we have at our disposal structuring elements that are found on the left of the screen. We can enter lines that have a single cell, which have 2 or 3 cells. Notice that they can be entered outside existing rows or in an existing cell. We also can introduce separators, to which we can also change the size. Similarly, we also can change the size of the existing cells. After that, in each of the cells, we can enter a type of content. Also, on the left, we have different types of available content, like text, image, audio resource, video resource, image gallery, quiz test, application, or attachment. We can also enter inside the section areas that can be passed only after solving a specific task. We also can introduce a resource from the organizer. Let's see how this is done. We introduce a resource from the organizer to this place, then we are invited to choose our image that we want to introduce at that point. Let's introduce the image just realized, and we see how here, immediately, the resource appeared. If we want to enter text in one of the cells, we have an editor that has enough functions that can help us achieve what we want. We also have the possibility, you see, to modify both text color and background color, and if we know, we also have the option of advanced styling using CSS. We have, behold, such an example in this area. We also have the possibility to introduce different design elements from those that are predefined. Another possibility is to introduce bookmarks, selecting different elements of the text, of the section, and marking them afterwards so they can be found later. They are very necessary later to realize the table of contents of the final book. In the upper part, we have a whole series of functions that apply over the entire section, or different items that are selected at a time. We have, as in the previous case, the undo, redo and synchronize buttons. We have a button that marks the entire section for a subsequent command. We have an information button that also refers to the entire section. We have an export button in the organizer for the section that is marked. Rename button. We can create new sections by cutting an already existing one. We can enter a bookmark, edit a resource, copy, cut, paste, select the top element. Notice how from a cell has passed to the upper element. We can delete the entire item. We also can view the work area in different ways. We can make the helping contours to disappear, or see what the section looks like when it's exported, on different types of screens. Here's how it looks on a smartphone, and we can see how the text has been reorganized because the application is fully responsive. Now returning to a tablet screen, we see again how the text reorganized itself. And here's the screen for a laptop or a desktop. The project is the last stage in making a book, before its export in the final form. We will show the basic elements of a project starting from an already existing project that we open from the organizer. The project is a structured grouping of sections that form the book. When opening a project, we are directed to the page where the sections are managed. We see on the left side the access buttons to 5 different work pages which we were looking at in the next moments. On the first page, we manage the sections that will form the project. We can create a new, empty section, directly inside the project. Following that, also inside the project, to make that section, bring it into final form, or we can add a section of the organizer. Also, the sections already introduced in the project can be repositioned, just pulling them with the mouse. On the next page, the table of contents of the book is arranged with the help of existing bookmarks. Note that all bookmarks can be used to make the table of contents. They can be placed in different positions. We are dealing with a structured table of contents. And also, we can edit any element of this table, making changes to the text, character type, used colors, and so on. On the next page, we have a preference area. Here we can choose the title for the book made. We can choose a theme of colors. Wallpapers. How resources are launched. The way navigation is done, with infinite or sequential scroll. What elements of these bars appear on the screen or don't show up in the final form. On page 4, we find the identification elements of the final book, respectively its cover, the title, authors of the book, table of contents. We can add the description, again a table of contents, keywords to use in search operations, and even attachments. Finally, we have the opportunity to see a statistic of the contents of the book, respectively, the number of sections and all the interactive elements that we have at our disposal. When we completed all these elements, we can see the project in its final form, and, of course, the possibility of exporting it. The final book can be exported in several ways. The first option is to export a package, archived, which can then be used in any browser, independent of whether or not a LIVRESQ account exists. The book can be exported as a package in SCORM format to be used afterward in e-learning platforms, or it can be sent for publication in the library of the platform. We will see what's going on in the library. It should be noted that publication on the main page of the library can only be done with the approval of a supervisor. To access the library, from the login page, we have the library button at our disposal. The library has two distinct areas. We have the public area on the one hand, in which we find all the books, resources, saved here over time, of different authors, with the approval of the administrators of the platform. We can order by categories, we have editor's choices, we have the opportunity to see the newly added books and, of course, the ability to see all the books. A second area is My Shelf. Here appear all the books made by an author and sent for publication. They automatically appear here, and if approved, they will appear in the main library. Also in this area are found books from the library accessed by the account holder. As you can see, the work is particularly simple, intuitive, and we wish you good luck in the use of the LIVRESQ platform. See you.